You ever been betrayed by someone you trusted completely? I spent 12 years in Delta Force, survived firefights in 7 countries, came home to find my wife Carly in bed with Damian Rodriguez, some cocky boxing instructor who thought his gym trophies made him untouchable. The bastard actually challenged me to a fight, like we were in some high school parking lot. He had no idea who I was, what I'd done, what I was capable of. My name is Jonas McKinley, and I'm 35 years old. I felt rage, sure. But more than that, I felt something cold settle into my chest. Calculation, strategy. I didn't just beat Damian in that ring. I took his business, his reputation, everything he'd built. Carly watched her lover crumble while losing everything she'd taken for granted. This isn't a story about forgiveness or reconciliation. This is about consequences. About what happens when arrogant people underestimate the wrong man. If you've ever wanted to watch someone who wronged you face real justice, this story is for you. But let me start from the beginning. Before I go any further, let me know in the comments where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow I will share a story you don't want to miss. I pulled into my Cedar Park driveway around 2 in the afternoon, feeling pretty good about myself. The Virginia consulting job was supposed to take 3 days. I'd wrapped it in 1. The client's security vulnerabilities were obvious. Easy fixes for someone with 12 years of Delta Force experience. I was already thinking about surprising Carly, maybe taking her to that Italian place she loved. Then I saw her car. That stopped me cold. She told me this morning she had back-to-back clients all day, real estate showings across town. So why was her car sitting in our driveway at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday? Then I noticed the other car. A flashy red Mustang with custom rims parked right behind hers. Not someone I recognized. I cut the engine and sat there for a second. Something felt off. You develop instincts in special operations, little warning signals that tell you when a situation's not right. Every one of those instincts was screaming at me now. I unlocked the front door quietly. Don't ask me why. Maybe it was muscle memory from 1,000 building entries in hostile territory. Maybe it was something deeper. Laughter drifted down from upstairs. Carly's laughter. And a man's voice. My heart rate didn't spike. That's the thing about Delta training. You learn to stay ice cold when everything's going to hell. I walked up those stairs like I was clearing a hostile building, each step deliberate, controlled, barely making a sound. The bedroom door was half open. I stopped at the threshold and looked inside. Carly was on our bed, with some guy who looked like he'd been sculpted in a gym. He had his shirt off, showing tattoos running down both arms. His hands were all over her. They were kissing. I pushed the door open fully. Interesting. Carly screamed and scrambled backward, grabbing for the sheet. The guy spun around and I got my first good look at him. Mid-30s, probably 6'2", maybe 220 of pure muscle. The kind of guy who'd never been seriously challenged in his life. Jonas. Carly's face went white. You're not supposed to be home. I stayed in the doorway, arms crossed, completely calm. Yeah, I gathered that. I looked at the guy. You want to tell me who your friend is? He had the audacity to smirk. Actually smirk. Damian Rodriguez. I'm Carly's boxing instructor. He said it like he was proud of himself. Like this was some kind of accomplishment. Boxing instructor. I nodded slowly. That what we're calling it now? Carly was pulling on clothes, hands shaking. Jonas, let me explain. Oh, I think the situation's pretty clear. I looked back at Damian. You should leave. That's when he made his first mistake. Instead of grabbing his shit and getting out, he stepped toward me. Or what, man, you gonna try something? He rolled his shoulders, trying to look intimidating. I know your type. Probably never thrown a real punch in your life. I almost laughed. You really want to find out? Jonas, stop. Carly moved between us. Both of you just... Nah, babe, it's cool. Damian put his hand on her shoulder. Possessive. Like he had any right. Your husband wants to act tough, let him. But he should know. I've been training fighters for 10 years. I've got 3 amateur championships. So unless he wants to get embarrassed, he should probably just walk away. Something in me went very still. You're challenging me to a fight? If that's what it takes. He puffed his chest out. Yeah, you and me. In the ring. We settle this like men. When I'm done with you, she'll see exactly what kind of husband she's got. Carly was looking at him like he was her hero, like he was actually standing up for her. That cut deeper than the cheating. She'd chosen this arrogant peacock over me. I uncrossed my arms. Okay. That caught them both off guard. Okay? Damien frowned. Just like that? Just like that. Friday night, your gym, 8 p.m. I'll be there. I looked at Carly. And after I'm done with him, you and I are having a very different conversation. One that involves lawyers. Wait, Jonas. 8 years, Carly. 8 years I've been faithful to you. Worked my ass off to build our life, and this is what you do? My voice stayed level, but I let the contempt show. You throw it away for some gym rat who probably can't count to 20 without taking off his shoes? Damien's face flushed red. You better watch your mouth. Or what? You'll fight me? That's already happening. I turned to leave, then looked back. Damien, I want you to remember something. You asked for this. When it's over, when you're looking up at the ceiling wondering what happened, remember that you're the one who wanted to make this physical. I walked out, leaving them both standing there. In my truck, I sat for a moment. 8 years, gone. Because she couldn't keep her legs closed around some pretty boy with a punching bag. Then I pulled out my phone and made the call. Steve, it's Jonas McKinley. Yeah, good to hear your voice too. Listen, I need a favor. You still practicing family law? Steve's office was on the 4th floor of a glass building downtown overlooking the river. I arrived maybe 30 minutes after leaving the house. My hands were steady on the wheel, but my mind was racing through scenarios, contingencies, next steps. That's what Delta does to you. Trains you to stay cold when everything's burning down. Steve met me at the door. We'd served together in Afghanistan. He got out after one tour and went to law school. Smart guy. Sharp. Jonas. He shook my hand. You sounded stressed on the phone. What's going on? My wife's been screwing her boxing instructor. I caught them today. In our bed. His expression hardened. Jesus. I'm sorry, man. Don't be. I'm past that part. I sat down across from his desk. The instructor challenged me to a fight. Friday night at his gym. I accepted. Steve raised an eyebrow. You're going to fight this guy? I'm going to destroy him. But first, I need you to handle the legal side. I want divorce papers filed. I want them served to Carly Friday morning, right before the fight. He leaned back, processing. Okay, let's talk specifics. How long's the affair been going on? I don't know exactly, but I pulled her phone records before I came here. Lots of calls and texts to Damien Rodriguez, some going back 6 months, maybe longer. 6 months. Steve grabbed a legal pad. Texas is a community property state, but we have fault divorce. Adultery is grounds. That works heavily in your favor. I'm going to need evidence, pictures, texts, recordings, anything concrete. I pulled out my phone, scrolled to the videos I'd taken. I recorded them yesterday, video and audio. Got her admitting to the affair on camera. Steve watched the clips, then whistled low. You don't mess around. 12 years of Delta doesn't leave room for half measures. We spent the next 2 hours going through everything. Assets, finances, property. The house was in both our names, but I'd paid the down payment with money from before the marriage, combat bonuses and savings from my years in service. We had about $200K in joint accounts. Another $150K in my separate retirement accounts from military and consulting work. Carly makes decent money in real estate, I said. Maybe $70,000, $80,000 a year. Nothing compared to what I bring in. What are you pulling now? $250,000, give or take. Security consulting pays well when you've got my background. Steve nodded, taking notes. With the evidence you've got, we can push for a very favorable settlement. She committed adultery. Texas courts don't look kindly on that. We can argue for you keeping the house, majority of assets. She'll get something, but not much. Good. File the papers tomorrow. Serve her Friday morning before the fight. He grinned. You're a cold bastard, Jonas. I respect that. An hour later, I was at Daniel Wright's gym on the east side. Not some fancy boutique studio. A real fighter's gym where guys trained for MMA and actual combat. Concrete floors, heavy bags hanging from chains. the smell of sweat and leather in the air. Daniel had been Marine Force Recon before starting his gym. We'd cross-trained together a few times over the years. Good guy. Better fighter. "So this Damian Rodriguez," Daniel said, pulling up videos on his phone. "I know of him. He runs that boutique place by the mall. Elite Strike Boxing." He made air quotes. "Teaches cardio boxing classes to soccer moms. Has a few amateur fights on his record, yeah, but nothing impressive." He showed me 3 fight videos. All amateur bouts, all wins. But Damian's competition had been guys with maybe 10 hours of training. Weekend warriors playing tough. "Watch his footwork," Daniel said, rewinding one clip. "He squares up too much. Leaves himself open. And see that?" He paused the video. "When he throws his left hook, he drops his right hand completely. Every single time. Exposed right side. Wide open. Guy with your training could exploit that easy." We watched the rest of the videos. Damian had decent hand speed and could throw combinations, but his technique was sloppy. He'd never fought anyone with real training. Definitely never fought anyone with my background. "He's never been in a real fight," Daniel said. "Just controlled amateur matches with refs and rules. You've been in actual life or death situations. I haven't been in a ring in years. Doesn't matter. You've got thousands of hours of combatives training you'll remember." He slapped my shoulder. "You're going to destroy him. And honestly, I want to watch." I spent Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at Daniel's gym. Not learning how to fight, I knew how to do that. But boxing has different rules than military combatives. I needed to refine my technique for the ring, keep my hands up, work on conditioning. Daniel worked me hard. Pad work, heavy bag, sparring with his pro fighters. My hands remembered the rhythm, my body remembered the movements. Thursday evening, our final session, Daniel held the pads while I threw combinations. "You're good to go. Just remember, he's going to come out aggressive, try to overwhelm you early, let him tire himself out. It won't go long." "That confident?" "I've seen his fighting. He drops his right hand after every jab. I'm going to bait him into throwing, slip it, and counter with a left hook. Should be over in the first round." Daniel grinned. "I'll be there to watch." Friday evening, I drove to Elite Strike Boxing. The place was in a strip mall, sandwiched between a yoga studio and a smoothie shop. Very upscale, very safe. Inside, the gym was packed. Maybe 40 people there. Mostly women from what I could see. Damian's students, his fans. Some guys who looked like they trained there too. Everyone wanted to watch their champion put the jealous husband in his place. A boxing ring was set up in the center. Regulation size. Someone had even brought in a referee. Older guy in a striped shirt, looked like he'd done this before. Damian was in the ring, shadow boxing, showing off. He wore red shorts with Rodriguez stitched in gold across the ass. Black boxing gloves. No shirt, naturally. Guy couldn't resist showing off his physique. When he saw me walk in, he stopped and grinned. "Look who showed up." "Wasn't sure if you'd have the balls." I ignored him and walked to the corner. Daniel had come with me and he helped me wrap my hands. I'd brought my own gloves, 16-ounce training gloves, standard for sparring. Carly was there. Of course she was. Standing ringside, arms crossed, looking worried. She'd probably spent the day crying about the divorce papers, and now she was watching her lover fight her soon-to-be ex-husband. What a mess she'd made. The referee called us to the center. "Okay, gentlemen, I want a clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves." Damian reached out, tapped my gloves with way more force than necessary. "Hope you got good insurance, man." I said nothing, just stared at him. 3 3-minute rounds, the ref continued. "Unless someone stopped before then. Back to your corners." I walked back. Daniel gave me water. "Remember the game plan, let him come to you." The bell rang. Damian came out fast, bouncing on his toes, throwing jabs to measure distance. He wanted to look impressive in front of his crowd. I stayed calm. Hands up, moving laterally, not engaging yet. He threw a 1-2 combination. I slipped both punches easily. They were telegraphed, all arm with no hip rotation. Amateur hour. "Come on, man, fight back." He circled me, throwing more jabs. I could hear his students cheering. "Get him, Damian. Show him what's up." 30 seconds in, I hadn't thrown a single punch, just defense. Watching, learning his rhythm. Damen got frustrated. He stepped in and threw a big left hook, exactly what I'd been waiting for. He dropped his right hand completely, left his whole right side open. I slipped under the hook and countered with a left hook of my own. Put my hips into it. Full rotation. My fist connected with his liver. You know what a liver shot feels like? Most people don't. It's not like getting hit in the face. You can push through that with adrenaline. The liver's different. When it gets hit hard, your whole body shuts down. You can't breathe, can't think, just blinding pain. Damien's eyes went wide. He doubled over, gloves dropping to his sides. I stepped back. The ref was already moving in. Count. 1, 2. Damen tried to straighten up. Couldn't. He dropped to one knee, gasping. 3, 4, 5. The gym went silent. 40 people watching their champion get dropped in less than a minute. 6, 7. Damen was trying to stand. His legs weren't cooperating. 8, 9, 10, that's it. The ref waved it off and raised my hand. Fight over. 53 seconds. The silence was deafening. Then somebody whistled. Then someone else started clapping slowly. Within seconds, the place erupted, half in shock, half in disbelief. I looked at Carly. She was staring at Damen, hand over her mouth, like she couldn't believe what she'd just seen. Damen finally made it to his feet, still clutching his side. His face was red, from pain or embarrassment, hard to tell. Probably both. I walked over to him. You wanted to settle this like men. We did. It's settled. You got lucky, he gasped. Lucky shot. There's no luck in 12 years of Delta Force training. You fight soccer moms and accountants who think they're tough. I fought terrorists. I leaned in close. And here's something else you should know. I'm taking everything from you. The gym, your reputation, all of it. Because you decided to fuck my wife and then challenge me like you're somebody. His eyes widened. What are you talking about? You'll see. I climbed out of the ring. Daniel handed me my shirt. That was beautiful, man. Textbook. We walked out of Elite Strike Boxing while Damien's students crowded around him, trying to help him to a chair. I didn't look back. In the parking lot, I pulled out my phone and made the call. Greg? It's Jonas McKinley. Yeah, good to hear your voice too. Listen, I need some information on a business. Guy named Damen Rodriguez runs a boxing gym called Elite Strike Boxing. Sunday afternoon, Greg called me back. Your boxing instructor's got problems. Talk to me. Elite Strike Boxing is leveraged to hell. He took out a $300K business loan 2 years ago to open the place. Still owes $240K. Revenue's decent but not great. Maybe $15K a month after expenses, and most of that goes to the loan payment. He's barely breaking even. Keep going. He's also got a silent partner, guy named Kenneth Davis, local real estate developer. Davis put up $100K in seed money for 40% equity. But here's the interesting part. Davis has been trying to get out of the deal for 6 months. Thinks Damien's an idiot. There's emails. How'd you get emails? Better you don't ask. Point is, Davis wants his money back and Damen can't pay him. They're close to a lawsuit. I smiled. Can you get me a meeting with Davis? Already set it up. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., his office downtown. Monday at 2 o'clock. I walked into Kenneth Davis's office building. Marble floors, glass elevators, the kind of place that screamed money. His office overlooked the river. All chrome and glass, minimalist furniture that probably cost more than most people's cars. Kenneth Davis was exactly what I expected. Mid-50s, gray hair styled perfectly, expensive navy suit. He looked like every successful real estate developer I'd ever met. Mr. McKinley, he shook my hand. Firm grip, assessing eyes. Greg says you have an interest in Elite Strike Boxing. I do. I understand you're a minority partner and you want out. That's putting it mildly. He sat down heavily in his leather chair. Damen Rodriguez is a disaster. Great boxer, terrible businessman. The gym barely makes money. He spends everything on fancy equipment and renovations instead of focusing on profitability. New heavy bags when the old ones were fine. Custom flooring. A damn neon sign. I want my $100,000 back and he can't pay it. What if I could help with that? Davis leaned forward. I'm listening. I'll buy you out. 100,000 for your 40% equity stake. Cash today. You want to go into business with Damen? He looked skeptical. Why? Let's just say I have my reasons. Do we have a deal? He studied me for a long moment. You know something I don't? I know Damien's an idiot. You already figured that out. The difference is, I'm not looking to make money off the gym. I'm looking to make his life difficult. A slow smile spread across Kenneth's face. Personal? Very. Then we absolutely have a deal. He stood and extended his hand. I'll have my attorney drop the paperwork. You'll have it by end of business today. We shook on it. By 5 p.m. Monday, I owned 40% of Elite Strike Boxing. Kenneth's attorney had moved fast. The transfer paperwork was signed, notarized, and filed. $100,000 from my savings, and I was now Damien's business partner. He had no idea yet. Tuesday morning, I visited the strip mall where Elite Strike operated. Found the property management office 3 doors down from a smoothie shop. Angela Roberts was the leasing agent. Professional woman, probably early 40s, dressed in a gray pantsuit. She pulled up Damien's lease on her computer. The Rodriguez lease has 18 months left, she said. He's usually a few days late on rent, but he pays. What would it take to make his life difficult? She raised an eyebrow. You want him out? Eventually. But for now, I want him spending money on problems. Can you start doing inspections, code compliance, that kind of thing? We could, but we'd need legitimate reasons. I'm sure you can find some. Fire safety, electrical issues, something. Just make him spend money fixing things. She smiled slightly. That can be arranged. We haven't done a comprehensive compliance check in over a year. I'm sure we'll find violations. Perfect. Wednesday morning, I walked into Elite Strike Boxing during business hours. Damen was teaching a class, about 15 women doing boxing combinations on heavy bags. Upbeat music playing. Everyone in matching gym gear. He saw me and his face went dark. What the hell are you doing here? We need to talk. Business. I got nothing to say to you. I pulled out the partnership agreement and walked across the gym floor. The women stopped punching, watching. Then just listen. I handed him the papers. He snatched them, still holding his focus mitts. This is bullshit. Kenneth wanted out. I gave him his money. We're partners now. His face went through about 6 different shades of red. Started pale, then flushed, then nearly purple. I'll buy you out. With what? You're broke. You owe 240 KOs on your business loan. Your profit margin is razor thin. You can't afford to buy me out. Then I'll shut this place down before I work with you. Can't do that either. Not without my approval as minority shareholder. And if you try, I'll sue you for breach of fiduciary duty. You'll lose and owe me even more money. I smiled. You're stuck with me, Damen. You're doing this because of Carly. I'm doing this because you challenged me, remember? You wanted to settle things like men. We did. You lost. Now you get to live with the consequences. His students were watching, whispering to each other. This wasn't the confident alpha male they'd signed up to train with. So here's how it's going to work, I continued. I want full access to the books, monthly financial reports, and I want approval on any major spending. You buy new equipment, you run it by me first. This is my gym. It's our gym, 60-40, and since you've been mismanaging it, I think it's time for some adult supervision. I handed him my business card. Email me the financials by end of day Friday. We'll schedule a monthly meeting to review performance. I walked out, leaving him standing there surrounded by his students who'd just watched him get humiliated again. Thursday morning, the inspectors showed up. I wasn't there, but Angela called me around 11. We found 6 violations. Fire extinguishers are outdated, electrical panels not up to code, emergency lighting doesn't function properly. He's got 30 days to fix everything. What's the damage? Estimates around $8,000. Perfect. Damen called me that afternoon. I let it ring 3 times before answering. Did you put them up to this? His voice was tight, barely controlled. Put who up to what? The property management inspectors. They just hit me with $8,000 in code violations. I have no idea what you're talking about. But as your business partner, I'm concerned about code compliance. You need to handle that. I don't have $8,000 just lying around. Better figure it out, unless you want the gym shut down. I paused. We have a 30-day window, right? That's plenty of time to come up with the money. You son of a... I hung up. Friday evening, Damien's financial report hit my inbox. I opened it at my hotel, scanning through the spreadsheets. Revenue, expenses, loan payments, everything laid out in painful detail. The gym was barely staying afloat. Margins were razor thin. One bad month, just one, and he'd be unable to make the loan payment. I forwarded everything to Steve. How does this affect the divorce? He called me back within an hour. Community property means Carly's technically entitled to half of assets acquired during the marriage. But since you acquired the gym stake after filing for divorce, it's not marital property. It's yours free and clear. And the divorce itself? Her lawyer's getting desperate. We've got pictures, videos, text messages, recorded admissions. Texas courts don't like cheaters, Jonas. We're pushing for a very favorable settlement. How favorable? I'm thinking 80-20 split on joint assets. You keep the house, most of the savings, all your retirement accounts. She gets her car and maybe $40,000 to walk away. Make it happen. 2 weeks after the fight, Daniel sent me a link. I clicked it and found myself on a local boxing forum. The thread title read, Damian Rodriguez got destroyed by some random guy. Someone had recorded the fight, posted the whole thing online. 50,000 views. I scrolled through the comments. Dude got dropped in under a minute LMAO. This is why you don't challenge people you don't know. How's this guy teaching boxing classes when he can't even last a round? That liver shot was nasty. Every comment was brutal. Nobody was defending Damian. His reputation was circling the drain. Mid-May, Greg called with an update. 3 of Damian's instructors just quit. When? Yesterday. They're opening their own place across town, taking their students with them. I sat forward. How many students? About 30. That's roughly $6,000 a month in revenue. Gone. The pressure was working. By late May, Elite Strike Boxing was hemorrhaging money. Revenue had dropped 40% between the instructors leaving and students canceling memberships. The viral video hadn't helped. Nobody wants to train with a guy who got knocked out in less than a minute. Greg kept me updated on the numbers. He's scrambling, running promotions, offering discounts, trying to get new people in the door. But the reputation damage is too severe. What's his burn rate looking like? He's maybe 2 weeks away from not being able to make his loan payment. I smiled. Keep watching. The last week of May, my phone rang. Damian's name on the screen. I answered. Yeah? I need to meet with you. His voice was different now. Quieter. Desperate. About what? The gym. The loan. I need help. Where? There's a coffee shop on 6th Street. Tomorrow, 10 a.m.? I'll be there. I hung up and stared at my phone for a moment. He was breaking. Finally. Saturday morning, I walked into the coffee shop on 6th Street. Found Damian sitting in the back corner, hunched over a cup that looked untouched. He looked terrible. Bags under his eyes like he hadn't slept in days. Stubble covering his jaw. 3, maybe 4 days' worth. This wasn't the cocky guy who'd been in bed with my wife. I sat down across from him. You wanted to talk. He didn't meet my eyes. I can't make the loan payment. Which one? This month's. I'm short about $4,000. I sipped the coffee I'd grabbed on my way in. That's unfortunate. I need you to spot me, as my business partner. Why would I do that? He finally looked up. Because if I default, the bank calls the loan, they'll seize the gym, you lose your investment. Actually, I've been thinking about that. I set my cup down. See, if the gym goes under, I can pick up the assets in bankruptcy for pennies on the dollar. Equipment, client lists, everything. Then I can reopen under new management. Without you. His face went pale. You're trying to destroy me. I'm letting you destroy yourself. I'm just making sure I'm positioned to benefit when you do. This is because of Carly. This is because you challenged me. I leaned forward slightly. Because you thought you were tough. Because you couldn't keep your hands off another man's wife and then had the arrogance to rub my face in it. My voice stayed level, cold. You wanted to be the alpha male, Damien. Congratulations. Now you get to learn what happens when you challenge someone who's actually dangerous. His hands were shaking around his coffee cup. I'll tell her what you're doing. Go ahead. She's not going to help you. She can't. The divorce is finalizing next month and she's walking away with almost nothing. The evidence against her is overwhelming. Her lawyer's already pushing her to settle. What do you want from me? Your shares. Sell me your 60% stake in the gym. For how much? $10,000. He laughed. Actually laughed. Bitter and broken. The gym's worth way more than that. Is it? Revenue's down 40%. You're behind on the loan. You've got code violations you can't afford to fix. The gym's worth exactly what someone's willing to pay for it. I finished my coffee. And right now, I'm the only buyer. His jaw clenched. No. Then I'll see you in bankruptcy court. I stood up. You've got until Monday to decide. After that, I let you default and buy the assets for even less. I walked out. Sunday night, my phone rang. Damien's name. I answered. Yeah? Okay. His voice was dead, flat. I'll sell. Steve's office. Monday morning, 9 a.m., don't be late. Monday morning, we met at Steve's law office. Damien looked worse than Saturday. Same clothes, maybe. Same broken expression. Steve had the paperwork ready. Clean, simple transfer agreement. Sign here, here, and here. Steve pointed to the signature lines. Damien's hand trembled as he picked up the pen. He stared at the documents for a long moment. You can still walk away, I said. Try to make it work on your own. He signed. All 3 pages. Steve notarized the documents, made copies, filed everything properly. Jonas, you now own 100% of Elite Strike Boxing. Congratulations. What are you going to do with it? Damien's voice was barely a whisper. Shut it down. Liquidate the assets. Sell the equipment, break the lease, pay off the business loan. I'll probably net about $50K after everything. His eyes went wide. You're shutting it down? But that's my whole life. Was your life. Past tense. I stood up, took the copies Steve handed me. You're free to go start over somewhere else. Maybe this time you'll think twice before sleeping with married women. He sat there, staring at the signed documents like he couldn't process what had just happened. I walked out. Steve followed me into the hallway. Cold-blooded Jonas. I respect it. He made his choices. Now he lives with them. Over the next few weeks, I handled the liquidation. Listed the equipment online, contacted buyers, arranged pickups. The boxing ring went for $8,000. Heavy bags, speed bags, all the smaller stuff brought in another $22,000. And the divorce moved forward. Steve kept hammering Carly's lawyer until they caved. Early June, Steve called. We've got the final settlement. They're ready to sign. I met Carly at his office that afternoon. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks, dark circles under her eyes, clothes that didn't quite fit right anymore. Weight loss, probably. Stress does that. Bill Parker, her lawyer, sat next to her looking resigned. He knew they'd lost before the fight even started. Steve laid out the settlement terms. Jonas keeps the house, all retirement accounts, and 80% of joint savings. That's $160,000. Carly receives her vehicle, furniture she selects, and $40,000 cash. In a community property state like Texas, that was a massacre. Steve had used the adultery evidence like a sledgehammer. Carly stared at the paperwork, didn't say anything for a long moment. My client accepts, Bill said quietly. We went through the documents. Page after page, signatures, initials, dates, the mechanical dismantling of 8 years. When we finished the bulk of it, Bill and Steve stepped out to file copies, left us alone in the conference room. That's when Carly spoke. I'm sorry. Her voice barely carried across the table. For everything. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd married, who I'd trusted completely. You destroyed 8 years of marriage for a guy who couldn't last a minute in the ring. I kept my voice neutral. Matter of fact. That's not something you apologize for. That's something you live with. He told me. She swallowed hard. He told me you ruined his life. Took his gym. I gave him every opportunity to succeed. He failed because he's incompetent. I leaned back. Not my problem. You did this because of me. I did this because he challenged me. Because he thought he was tough. I met her eyes. You just happened to be collateral damage. Steve returned with the final page. I signed it without hesitation. We're done here. Carly left in tears. I watched her walk out of Steve's office, out of my life. 8 years reduced to signatures on paper. You ever notice how the end of something major feels both huge and small at the same time? Like it should be this dramatic moment, but it's really just paperwork. Over the next month, I liquidated Elite Strike Boxing piece by piece. The boxing ring sold first. Some MMA gym in San Antonio bought it for $8,000. Heavy bags went next, 12 of them at $150 each. Speed bags, training gloves, pads, all the smaller equipment. Posted everything online, met buyers in parking lots, loaded their trucks. The whole process was almost therapeutic. Watching Damien's dream get dismantled and sold off to strangers. By late June, I'd brought in about $30,000 from equipment sales. Then I dealt with the lease. Angela's property management company wanted a $10,000 penalty for early termination. Fair enough, I paid it. The business loan took the rest. Paid off the remaining $240,000, closed the account, done. I sat at my kitchen table running the final numbers. Initial investment, $100,000 to buy out Kenneth. Equipment sales, $30,000. Minus the lease penalty, $20,000 net. Plus Damien's $10,000 buyout. Total profit, $47,000 on top of my original $100,000. Not bad for destroying someone's entire life. Greg called that same afternoon. Got an update on your boxing instructor. Let's hear it. He tried getting hired at 3 different gyms around Austin. Nobody wanted him. Word travels fast in the fitness community. Everyone knows he got knocked out by a client's husband and lost his business. Where'd he end up? Some big box gym. You know, one of those 10-a-month Planet Fitness type places. He's doing personal training. Maybe 4 or 5 clients. Pulling in about $30,000 a year if he's lucky. I whistled. That's a hell of a fall. Gets better. His Instagram's basically dead. Had like 5,000 followers at his peak. Now he's down to maybe 800. He deleted most of his posts after the comments got too brutal. People kept asking if he was the guy from the knockout video. Beautiful. Yeah, well, you thoroughly destroyed the man's career. Hope it was worth it. Every second. We talked a bit more. Then I hung up. Stood in my kitchen, my temporary kitchen since I was selling this house, and felt satisfied. Complete. Damien was working for pennies. Carly had lost everything that mattered to her. And me? I was free. 6 months after the divorce, I'd settled into a rhythm I actually liked. Sold the house in Cedar Park. Couldn't stand being there anymore. Every room carrying memories I didn't want. Bought a condo downtown instead. 12th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. Modern, clean, no history. Exactly what I needed. My consulting business was absolutely killing it. Turns out there's massive demand for former Delta operators in the private security world. Corporate threat assessments, executive protection, security audits for Fortune 500 companies. I was pulling in $250K a year, working maybe 30 hours a week. Better money, better hours, zero stress compared to what I used to do. I'd started dating again too. Nothing serious. Met a couple women through friends, had some nice dinners, enjoyed the company. No pressure, no second guessing, just normal. It felt good not having that weight of wondering if someone was lying to me. Friday night, Daniel and I grabbed beers at this place near his gym. Sports bar, nothing fancy. We'd been doing this about once a month since everything went down. So how's retirement from the revenge business? He grinned, flagging down the waitress for another round. Pretty good, actually. I leaned back in my chair. Quiet. Boring. Exactly what I needed. You ever think about Carly? I considered that. Not really. Sometimes I wonder what she was thinking, throwing away what we had. But mostly I just don't care anymore. That's healthy. Yeah. Well, took a while to get there. The waitress brought our beers and I took a long drink. She made her choice. She's living with it. Not my problem. And Damien? He's not my problem anymore either. Last I heard, he's barely scraping by. That's enough for me. Daniel raised his glass. To moving forward. I clinked mine against his. To moving forward. We drank. The bar noise filled the silence. ESPN on 3 different screens. People laughing, pool balls cracking in the back room. You know what's funny about revenge? It's only satisfying if the people who wronged you actually suffer. And Damen and Carly definitely suffered. She lost her career, her reputation, her marriage, all for a guy who couldn't last 1 minute in a fight. What kind of trade is that? He lost his business, his livelihood, his future, all because he couldn't keep his hands off another man's wife. And me? I lost a cheating wife and gained peace of mind. I call that a fair trade. About a week later, I was grabbing dinner at this Italian place I liked when someone approached my table. Jonas McKinley? I looked up. Woman, maybe early 40s, professionally dressed. Took me a second to place her. Monica Brennan, she said, extending her hand. I worked with Carly at Highland Realty. Right. I shook her hand, remembering now. She'd been at a couple office parties back when Carly and I were still together. Good to see you. Mind if I say something quick? Go ahead. She glanced around, then leaned in slightly. I just wanted you to know. Carly was always talking about how great Damen was before everything fell apart. How he made her feel alive, how exciting he was, all that nonsense. Then after you guys split and everything came out, she tried blaming you. Said you were controlling, that's why she cheated. Nobody bought it. I nodded slowly. Good to know. For what it's worth, I always liked you. You deserved better. I appreciate that. She smiled, touched my shoulder briefly, then headed back to her own table. I sat there for a moment. Controlling. That's what Carly told people. Like I was the problem. Like 8 years of supporting her career, building our life together, being faithful. Like all that made me the bad guy. People believe what they need to believe to live with themselves. I finished my meal, paid the check, and drove home. Didn't think about Carly or her excuses again that night. Wasn't worth the energy. It's been almost 2 years since everything went down, and I wanted to give you an update on where everyone ended up. Damien's life is a cautionary tale. Last I heard from Greg, he's bouncing between personal training gigs, never staying anywhere more than a few months. Turns out when you lose your entire business and reputation, people remember. The boxing community in Texas isn't that big. Everyone knows what happened. He tried moving to Houston to start fresh, but someone recognized him from the viral video. That gym let him go after 3 weeks. He's back living with his parents at 37 years old. Has maybe 4 or 5 clients who train with him privately in their garages. Makes barely enough to cover his car payment and student loans from a degree he never finished. His Instagram's still dead. He posts occasionally, motivational quotes, old pictures from his competition days, but the comments are always the same. Aren't you the guy who got knocked out? How's that gym working out? People are brutal online. I don't feel bad for him, not even a little. He made his choices. Carly's situation isn't much better. She moved to Austin thinking she could restart her real estate career. Spent 6 months working for a boutique agency before they let her go. Sales weren't there. Turns out that when your reputation takes a hit in one market, it follows you to the next. Real estate's built on trust and referrals. She had neither. Last time I checked her social media, she was working as an assistant property manager for some apartment complex. Big step down from selling $500,000 homes. She's dating someone new, some accountant. Hope she treats him better than she treated me, but I doubt it. Cheaters usually cheat again. She tried reaching out about 8 months ago. Sent me an email saying she wanted closure, wanted to explain herself, apologize properly. I deleted it without responding. Some people don't deserve closure. They just deserve to live with what they did. As for me, life's never been better. My consulting business is thriving. I brought on 2 partners, both former special operations guys, and we're landing contracts with Fortune 500 companies. Corporate security, threat assessment, executive protection. Last year we cleared $800K in profit. My cut was $350K. I met someone about a year ago. Her name's Emily. She's a veterinarian, divorced like me, no drama. We take things slow, which is perfect. She knows the whole story about Carly and Damen. Her response was, "Well, they fucked around and found out." That's when I knew she was a keeper. I still train at Daniel's gym 3 times a week. Not because I'm planning to fight anyone, I'm done with that, but because it keeps me sharp. Plus, it's therapeutic. There's something centering about hitting the heavy bag for an hour. Sometimes people who know the story ask if I regret how hard I went after them, if maybe I took it too far. My answer's always the same. No. Damen challenged me. He wanted to make it physical, to humiliate me in front of Carly and his students. He thought he was tough. He learned otherwise. Then he had every opportunity to salvage his business. He could have been a professional partner, could have fixed the code violations, could have managed his finances better. Instead, he let pride and incompetence sink him. I just made sure I was positioned to benefit when he failed. Carly made her choice when she decided to cheat instead of communicating about whatever was missing in our marriage. She could have asked for counseling. She could have asked for a divorce. Instead, she chose the coward's path. The consequences were hers to bear. I protected myself, executed a plan, and moved forward with my life. That's not cruelty. That's survival. These days, I sleep great at night. I wake up in a home I love, with work I'm passionate about and a woman who respects me. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm just free. And freedom, I've learned, is the best revenge of all. Damen and Carly got exactly what they deserved. They're living their consequences while I'm living my best life. That's all the closure I need. I hope you found that story powerful. Leave a like on the video and subscribe so that you do not miss out on the next one. I have handpicked 2 stories for you that are even more powerful. Have a great day.